Now, right, okay. So, question 1. Quickly, show that the height of the tin can be expressed as h equals 98 over r cubed. Okay, so it's a cylinder, so that means pi r squared h will give you 98 pi. Right, okay. Zoom in, zoom out. Oh, do you know what this stupid thing, this stupid thing is? Now, is that okay? Can you read that? So pi r squared equals 98 pi. Pi's cancel, right? And you can rearrange so you get h is equal to 98 over r squared. 10 marks for that, okay? Right, a very generous 10 marks for that. Show that the total surface area of the tin can be written as that. So off you go to your log tables, and the curved surface area is 2 pi RH, right? But you have to know that when you flatten out, remember when you flatten out a cylinder, you get a rectangle in the middle. This is the curved surface area, okay, which is in the log tables. That's 2 pi RH. You need to add on 2 circles to that, so there's 2 pi r squared onto that. Okay, so you need to remember that bit where you add on 2 pi r squared. Right, okay, so everywhere I see a h, I'm putting in a 98 over r squared. Right, so I have 2 pi r multiplied by 98 over r squared all over plus 2 pi r squared. Okay, so what I can do there is I can take out a 2 pi. Why am I taking out 2 pi? Because I have one eye on the answer. Right, they want it in this form. So I'm going to take a 2 pi out. Right here, I'm going to cancel one of those r's. So the 2 pi is gone out. I'm left with a 98 over r. And over here, the 2 pi is gone out. I'm left with an r squared. Right, I'm going to get a common denominator inside. Right, so inside the bracket, the common denominator is r. So r into r goes once, 1 multiplied by 98. Right, and sorry, that's 1. 1 into r goes r times r multiplied by r squared. And multiply out, you get 98 plus r cubed. Is that alright? So 98 plus r cubed inside over r and 2 pi outside. Is that okay? I'm not writing the last line, but it's written up there. Is that okay? 10 marks for that. Are we good? Shall I wait? Are we good? Can I go? Right, okay, next one, right, was the trapezoidal rule. Right, okay, so area is equal to the h over 2 times first plus last plus twice the rest. Okay, learn it. That's directed at the person who had it all mixed up. Right, okay, so first the last plus twice the rest. So h is 6. So that's 6 over 2. I know the area. The area is 627. That's 6 over 2 times the first is 12. The last is 15 plus twice the rest. So 2 times the rest would be 13 plus x plus x plus 22 plus 17 plus 23. Okay, that's 627 equals 3 into, that's 27, add inside the bracket, we have 13 and that's 40, 62, 75, isn't it? Okay, so when you fix this inside, you get x plus 75, and then multiply in by 2, you get 2x plus 150. Okay, so that's 627 equals 3 into 2x plus 177. I'm going okay, am I? Just, yeah. Then divide by, or multiply in by 3, so 627 equals, you could divide by 3 to whatever you want. 3 times 177 is 300, 370 is 510, 3 sevens 21, 531 I think, right? So that's 627 minus 531 equals 6x. Subtract it and divide it, and you end up with x is equal to 16. Is that right? If I just skip to the end there, right? Is that okay? We good with that? That was just pure algebra, okay? But I know one person didn't know the rule, learn the rule, right? Okay, is that right? How many marks for that? 10 marks for that. Okay, the next one is find r, the radius of the circular substance of the water. Right, okay, so you want this r in here. Okay, so you have a right angle triangle here. This is, you have to use SOHCAHTOA here. Right, this is 30 degrees, this is 15, this is r. Okay, so label, this is your right angle, so this is the hypotenuse, this is the adjacent, sorry, this is the opposite, and this is the adjacent. So we want the opposite and the hypotenuse, so that's sine of 30 equals opposite over hypotenuse, which is r over 15. Get the sine of 30, cross multiply, you get r is equal to 15 multiplied by the sine of 30 into the calculator with that, and they said give your answer in the form, insert form. So when you put that into your calculator, you'll end up with 5 root 3. So r is equal to 5 root 3. And by right, you should put a unit on it, centimetres, okay? 5 marks for that. Okay, next one, hence find the volume of water in the cone in terms of pi. So I want this little cone down here, I want the volume of that. So the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h, which is 1/3 multiplied by pi. I've just got r, which is 5 root 3, to be squared, multiply the height, multiply by 15 into the calculator with that, and you get 375. Oh, hang on. I think it's 375. I'll just pull up the answer there. 375 pi, yeah. Okay, when you square that out, 375 pi, and by right you should put a centimetres cubed on that because it's volume. Is that alright? 5 marks for that. Okay with that? Moving on. Am I good? And the last one is a void consists of a cone mounted on a heavy cylindrical, so you have a cone on top of the cylinder, so there's a cone and there's a cylinder, right? They have equal volumes, okay, so that means pi r squared h of the cylinder is equal to 1/3 pi r squared h of the, the cone, right? Okay, now the pi's are the same thing. What about the radius? They're also the same, aren't they? The radius of the cone and the radius of the cylinder is the same, isn't it? Right, okay, would you agree? Okay, now the heights are not the same, because this is, the height of the cone is here and the height of the cylinder is here, yeah? So you call one of them x. So I call the height of the cylinder x, and I will call the height of the cone 6 minus x. Is that alright? Okay, so this is the height of the cylinder, which is x. Over here, it's 1/3 into 6 minus x. Is that okay? So that's x is equal to 1/3 of 6 is 2 minus 1/3 x. So that means 4/3 of x equals 2. And when you rearrange that, okay, you get, or x is equal to, wait now, I think you'll get 1.5. Because I said x was the height of the cylinder. And they asked me for the height of the cone. Right, so the height of the cone is 6 minus 1.5. So that means it's 4.5. Is that okay? We're good with that? Sorry. Okay, the diameter of the cone, the cylinder, is 2.5. That means the radius is equal to 1.25. Find the total volume of the buoy. So it's the cylinder pi r squared h plus the cone will be the total volume plus pi r squared h. Right, so that's pi multiplied by 1.25 squared multiplied by the height of the cylinder, which is 1.5. Right, and you have to add on the height or the volume of the cone multiplied by pi multiplied by the radius is the same, it's 1.25 squared multiplied by the height of the cone, which is 4.5. Okay, into the calculator with that and press equals, and you magic up in terms of pi. Did they say in terms of pi? Yeah, in terms of pi. When you do all that, you'll end up with 75 pi over 16. Is that okay? Right, and again you should probably put C, oh it's meters cubed. So that's meters cubed. 5 marks for that. 5 and 5 there as well. Okay, total 50. Okay, is that right? Am I good? Okay, right. Back to last night's homework. So we were on inverse. Right, okay. Inverse, I gave you 1 to 11, yeah, except number 9 and 10. Was that right, or something like that? Yeah, okay. So, does anyone need any of those done? Anyone need any one of those done? Can you do 7? 7? Right, so 7 is f of x is equal to x minus 6 all over x. Find the inverse. Okay, so you write that as y equals x minus 6 all over x. Cross multiply. So x minus 6 equals xy. Cross multiply. Right, okay. I want to isolate the x because I want x equals. Instead of y equals, I want x equals. So there's two x's, so that means I bring both over to the left. Equals 6. Bring the 6 over. So if it's got an x in it, it comes to the left. Right? Take out the x and you get 1 minus y equals 6. And then divide by 1 minus y. So you get 6 all over 1 minus y. And then you change the x into f inverse of x. And you change the y over here back to an x. So 1 minus x. Is that alright? Okay, so again, that's when you're doing it, start rearranging formula. How do you go x equals, right, when there's two x's, right, okay. Right, any other one? 8 should be okay when you know what you know now, yeah? Should it? Do you want me to do 8? Anyone? Right, and is 11 okay? Right, we're good? Okay, so I need to, I have another couple of things to say here. So if you, is it okay that I move up? Right, okay. If you get the When you get the inverse, you're actually getting, when you, this is for your notes, get the inverse of a function. So you are actually reflecting the function in the line y equals x. You are reflecting the function in the line y equals x. I shall explain. So if you have a graph, okay, the line y equals x is the line that goes 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, etc. So that's the line y equals x. So it's the line through the points 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, etc. Is that alright? Okay, so that's the line y equals x. So if you have the function over here, we'll just say it's like, wait now till I see what I draw. This one, right? If it looks like that, okay? When reflected in the line y equals x, do the whole butterfly thing, you know, when you were in primary school and you painted half the butterfly and folded over the page, right? And you got the other half of the butterfly, yeah? Okay, did you do that? Because that was, I remember that from my childhood, right? Okay, basically that's reflection. Okay, so if I was to fold along that line, I'd end up with that line over there. Okay, is that alright? So you end up, so that's what you're actually doing. So this is the function f of x. Then the function f inverse of x would look like this. Okay, so you're actually reflecting in that line. Okay, so if I have something like, I'll just do one more. So here's my graph. Here's my line y equals x. The line y equals x, it goes through 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, minus 1, etc. Right, okay, and I might just do a, if I start down here, and I might do a 3, if you have something like this, right, and that's f of x, right? If you were to fold it over that line, okay, you would end up here somewhere, right, would you? Anyway, you get the idea, yeah? Would you end up, I'm trying to figure it out, something like that, okay? It's the image in the line y equals x, yeah? Okay, is that right? That's probably crazy wrong, is it? Art was never my thing. Do you know what? I think it would actually go through 3 here. So I think it would look something like that. Is that alright? Okay. Are we good? Right, okay. That's it. And I also wanted to do a couple of harder examples. So what number example did I finish on yesterday? 3. So I'll do example 4. Right, okay. So if g of x is 1 all over x minus 2, right, where x is an element of R, okay, so x, you can take x to be any real number except x cannot be equal to 2. Can anyone explain why they tell me x is not equal to 2? X is not equal to 2 because if you put in 2 for x, you'll have 1 over 0, yeah? and you can't divide by 0. Dividing by 0 doesn't exist. It's infinity and beyond, okay? So you can't divide by 0. If you try and divide by 0 on the calculator, an error message will come up. You can't divide by 0, so that's why they're just saying x is not equal to 2. You don't have to do anything with the information, but just so you know, right, is the inverse of the function f of x equals 1 plus kx over x, and again x is an element of R, and for this they're just saying x cannot be equal to 0 because you can't divide by 0, right? It's just, they're just informing you, you don't need to do anything. Find the value of k. Of k, and they're telling me k works out to be a natural number, where k is an element of n. So just for my answer, k is a natural number, right? It's a positive whole number. Okay, so basically if I get the inverse of this function, I end up with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the inverse. Okay, so here's the function I'm starting with, 1 plus kx all over x. Agreed? Okay, so I want to rearrange this so I have x equals, so I'm going to cross multiply, so I get xy equals 1 plus kx. So I want x equals everything else, so there's two x's, so when there's two x's you bring them to the left, everything else to the right. So you go xy minus kx equals 1, then you take out the x outside the bracket and you get y minus k equals 1. So you get x is equal to 1 all over y minus k. Right, and then you change the x to f inverse of x, and you change the y over this side to an x. So it's 1 all over x minus k. Right, but they told me the answer. They told me that the answer was 1 all over x minus 2. So they told me the answer in the question. So what does k equal to? What does k equal to? 2, isn't it? Right? So it was x minus k, and they told me the answer was x minus 1 all over x minus 2. So that k obviously stands for 2, which is a natural number, right? Which they told me it would be. Okay? Are we good? Right? Is that alright? Just a question with a bit of a twist on it. Okay, but nothing different. Still rearranged so you have x equals everything else. Right? Are we good? Yes? No, they told me it's the inverse. Right, so they told me g of x was the inverse. So they told me it was the inverse. Right, okay, so basically they told me if I get the inverse of this, this is the answer. So I got the inverse and I know this is the answer because they told me. Is that alright? Okay, are we good? Any more questions for me? Can I move it up? No? Yes? We're all ready? Okay. Example 5. Am I going for time? Example 5. So f of x is equal to 2x minus 3. I actually want to do one with a restrictive function. No. Yeah, I have another one. Actually, I'll do this one, then I'll do the other one. And g of x equals x minus 4 are two functions. I don't need to write that down, that's pretty clear. Right, so part 1 is find g f of x and then find g f of x inverse. Okay, so basically we're getting the answer and then we're finding the inverse of the answer. That's what that means. Okay, that's why I wanted to do this one. So g f of x all in a bracket inverse means get that, right, work out what that is, and then find the inverse of that function, right? Okay, and then there's a part 2. It says investigate if g f of x, sorry, g f of x inverse, which is my answer from part 1, right, okay, is equal to f inverse after g inverse of x. Okay, right, we'll worry about that bit when we come to it. We'll do the first bit first. Part 1, find g f of x, so that's g after f of x. So to find g f of x, it's g after f of x, so I do f of x first, so f of x is equal to 2x minus 3, and then I get g of the answer, so g of 2x minus 3 means into g, everywhere I see an x, put in a 2x minus 3, so that's 2x minus 3 minus 4, which will be 2x minus 7. Is that okay? So g after f, so did f first, put the answer into g. Right, are we good? Okay, I might do part 2 over here if that's okay. Part 2, they want me to get g f of x inverse. So they basically want me to take that answer and get the inverse of it. Okay, because g f of x is just what I've got. So they want me to take the answer, right? Okay, so the answer was y equals 2x minus 7. I'm going to rearrange that. So I get 2x is equal to y plus 7. So that means x is equal to y plus 7 over 2. So change that to this is g f of x inverse, because that was the name of the function. So the name of the function was g f of x, and I got the inverse of it, and I just changed that y to an x plus 7 over 2. Is that okay? Right, okay, part 2 then. Right, so part 2 wants me to investigate if g f of x inverse is equal to, if I did them out separately, if I did f inverse and g inverse of x. So if I did f inverse after g inverse, right? Okay, so I have this bit done. It's part 2, part 1 even, x plus 7 over 2. Is that alright? Okay, so I have that part done. I got x plus 7 over 2. Right, I need to do this part. So I need to do g inverse of x, then f inverse of the answer. Okay, so it's f inverse after g inverse. I need to get expressions for f inverse and g inverse to start with. Okay, so f of x, so I'll just draw a line under that. Can I move it up? So f of x is equal to 2x minus 3. So I need to get an expression for the inverse of that. So that means y is equal to 2x minus 3. Rearranging, you get 2x equals y plus 3. So that means x is equal to y plus 3 all over 2. So that's f inverse of x. And just change that y back to an x plus 3 all over 2. Is that, how did that happen? Right, okay, I will finish this one tomorrow, and I want to do the, right, okay, so page 252, let's do 251 to 252, let's do 12, 13, I just did 14 and 15, have a go at 16, right, and 17 I want to do an example of tomorrow, okay? So 12, 13 and 16, okay? I think I might have 251 up since yesterday, I will just make sure, and I'll put up 252. So will you clean your tables and